Yep.
That's how I remember it. But I did like by doing that, and I wasn't even counting my exact hours. I just was stopping my food at 9 o'clock or 8 o'clock.
Hmm.
And also big proponents like doctors who talk about using it talk about eat while there's light out. So sorry, Brenda, for this, but eat while there's light out. Don't eat when it's dark.
Yeah.
So your body is working with the sun, and it helps your metabolism too to do that.
Right.
But yeah, the challenge I had
Thank you
mentioned
for trying
for those who are just coming in is the oh, hold on, it's on my phone. Pardon me. I keep forgetting the name of my own challenge because yeah, that's what we were talking about with the trying to multitask. The one less, one more challenge, and it's one bad thing gone for a month and one good thing added in. Um, and it's just, to take that first step, like I've talked about before in here. Hey, almost homesteading with Janet. Welcome in.
Hey,
Uh, it's to take that first step to bring about change in your own way of taking care of your body or how you haven't been taking care of your body. My biggest step was the one thing was sugar. When I got off of sugar, I saw a huge difference. Oh, God bless you, little guy. Got a little. Hey, a moment in the Word. Good to see you.
good to see you.
But yeah, that made a huge difference with my pain levels. Then so did the dairy, helped a bit, and then now the um, just want to keep an
So how
eye.
did you get off the sugar? Because I'm really interested in that because that's a struggle for me.
Well, for me, I just started cutting back, and I wasn't eating things with it in like added to it.
Hmm.
Um, and I didn't put it in my coffee anymore. And I did try at first some of these things like the sugar alternatives, but with the fibro, it just made me sore all over.
Hmm.
So I went and I already had a supplement that I take that is called D-ribose, that is a precursor for energy and your mitochondria. And so I just add that to my coffee, and it has a tiny bit of sweetness to it. And then I'm trying to think what I had in the coffee itself to where I went black with just that. I can't remember what I was using for creamer, and I went off of that. But prior to that, I had just bought like in fall, I was having the pumpkin spice in my
Hmm.
coffee, like the liquid stuff that they put in at the coffee
Yeah.
places. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was using that, and I was wondering, like, this is probably not good. I haven't gotten to try allulose yet. I wondered. I have a friend that said she reacted to that too, and she also reacted to the two that I did. Um,
Mm.
I tried stevia. I even got an organic one. Still makes me want to wipe my tongue. I just can't get. Just like it sticks in the back of the center of my tongue, and I just want to wipe it.
I guess the
Um,
thing of those sugars is I just really have a hard time with them.
mm,
Those kind of sugars because it's like they're not natural. Sugar is bad enough, you
yeah.
know, and so I rather. Hello, John Paul.
Hi, John. I don't think I have you open. Let me edit you opened up. Let me open you too. Um, yeah, a lot of them are processed. People are like, oh yeah, um, just use this, and I have that same feeling, like, oh, it's created in a lab.
Yeah,
Basically,
yeah.
it's not really that much better of a thing to put into your body than sugar. But I haven't tried the allulose. I heard Dr. Gundry talk about it. Have you tried it, Andy's Journey? Andy's Journeys, sorry. Wow. How much sugar were you consuming that it took 65 pounds off of you? Was it in your coffee
Crazy.
and like baked goods? Like, 'cause I've only dropped 10 pounds by doing that.
I only put a tiny bit in my coffee.
Yeah, well,
I don't drink. I don't
that's
drink coffee.
starting your day, though.
Yeah,
It
I know.
starts the chain reaction of the crave cycle.
And I
I
didn't used to do that. I don't know why. I used to drink black coffee, but then I switched to doing. I had to add creamer because of the acids were starting to get to me with coffee,
Oh,
and so
okay.
I found myself wanting the good creamers, and I
Of
think that kind of
course.
you know
Yeah.
put me in a. And so now I'm drinking just almond milk with that has no sweetener in it at all.
Mhm.
Um, but then with a like those old fashioned little teaspoons of
Yes.
just
Of
one.
sugar.
And I'm like, well, maybe I should stop doing that too and just you know
Okay, I'll tell you why our treasured home, because it's a lie that you do. Because your body still will not uh, drop the poundage if you are putting those. Sometimes, if you're not adding, like, let me, if you're still eating baked goods and it's got stevia in it, if you're still eating lots of carbs, but you're just substituting stevia or another substitute sugar, you're still going to put on the weight, because it's about the carbs versus your proteins versus how many hours are you eating? Are you grazing? Are you taking time off? Are you
right.
drinking a lot of water to flush the stuff out? It's more than just changing it, but they also have talked about that your body will actually pack on pounds, like people with diet soda.
Hmm.
They yeah, they gain weight rather than lose it, even though
Because their
it's diet.
body,
Yeah.
yeah, their body thinks this is sugar.
Mhm. I have to black now. It's going without sugar. It's refined. Oh yeah, the old man belly, and some of that is actually wheat belly. Very.
Hmm.
Some of that is wheat.
Hmm.
So switching to like organic wheat, or switching to just a better
It's why
quality
people get
bread,
beer
or
bellies.
making it. Hmm?
Why
What was
people
that?
get beer bellies. It's the same thing.
Yeah, it's the same thing. It's a grain belly. It's a grain
Hmm.
belly. So I'm mainly on the. Yeah, I couldn't do that. The carnivore diet. That's awesome. So
Hmm.
that's the combo I'm talking about right there. Our treasured home. He quit sugar, but then this is the add, like the rest of the picture that he's showing
Hmm.
us now. He cut out his carbs, except for the carbs that would be in the veggies that he has 2 to 3 times a week.
Yeah.
I and a lot of men seem to do okay on the carnivore. I couldn't do it because of the gouty arthritis, which I didn't know I had until I ate a bunch of pistachios, and it
Hmm.
I had a flare up. And that's what it says. If you have gout and you eat a lot of pistachios, it'll show up with
Have you
by
heard
doing
of?
that.
I forget the medicine. A lot of people are losing weight on. It's
Oh, Ozempic.
yeah. My daughter's about to do that, and I'm like,
Don't let her do it.
what are you doing?
Don't. It what it does is it freezes your stomach basically in position, and the stuff just
Mhm.
goes through you. But it's designed as a shot that you will take for the rest of your life, because yeah, and it also has caused issues with the stomach never coming back to full motility.
Hmm.
So yeah, it causes a lot of, but I'm not putting people down that need it as a Kickstarter. I'm
Right.
just saying it's not, it's designed by big pharma, and it's designed as a long-term
But
medication.
yeah, everything that's designed by Big Pharma. I mean, you know, and a lot of like my brother-in-law who was on it. I have a brother-in-law who was on it for diabetes, and it just made him totally sick all the time.
Yeah.
So he quit it for diabetes. And then I have a nephew that's taking
Okay.
it, and he's just, I mean, he looks great. He's losing weight, but
Mhm.
he's never, he doesn't eat. It's like he
Yeah.
just feels sick all the time.
That's a horrible, yeah, that's it's just horrible. It also too doesn't care what, how do you say it? What flesh it is removing from you. So you're
Hmm.
losing your muscle structure
Hmm.
too. It's going to remove that also.
Which your heart is a muscle, and yep.
Yes, it can damage that. Also, it supposedly your body creates, although it's not in blowing them up, it creates more fat cells on the stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
that's what I'm talking about. Like pharma makes sure that if you go off of it, that you will come back to them and use it again.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't. I just saw that, Nancy. I got it. That it's a. So then something more like what Darren is doing. I think that's how you say your name, Darian. That's Darian. Is doing with it's more like carnivore and just
Mm-hmm.
completely dropping your carbs as low as you can for your health because it's all about how you feel. We're all, I always say, we're all different petri dishes. We all
Yes.
have our own little science experiment going on in here. Also, maybe adding in some digestive enzymes if you don't have those because you are, sitting more, so they can help you digest those foods a little
Mm-hmm.
easier so they can not sit around in your belly and cause any kind of bloating or anything. My primary and my endo said to not
Yeah.
use the sugar replacers because it messes with my insulin. Yep. I have severe type 2 insulin. I'm so sorry. But thank you for that, Q. Yep. It does.
Yeah.
You can. Yep.
That's for sure.
I just basically what I did was I think it was keto. I went towards keto, and so
Mm-hmm.
I took I was the same way as you, Laura. I had this almond creamer that had sugar in it. So my first step I did was I went and got, it's called, I think, Nut Pod, and they're in a box, and it's still
Mm-hmm.
like an almond coconut creamer, but it has no sugar. They have ones without any sugar at all, and I
Mm-hmm.
got that. And then when I read about how the emulsifiers in some of these almond milks and coconut milks can mess up your gut microbiome, cause leaky gut too, I was like, I better just try black coffee and see if I can do it. Then, too, reading about coffee, that it can keep sugar high in your blood. And I was doing like the Candida kind of cleanse. I
Mm-hmm.
was like, well, I love my coffee. It's my ritual in the morning. So maybe though I can just do with 1 cup.
Well, that
And
was the thing too.
so it was a slow back off. Like it was
When
just
I had done a couple, because of my blood pressure issues in the past. Now, blood pressure's fine now, but um, when I was having issues with it, and then I would fast for a while, all of a sudden I didn't, and then I tried to get away from the coffee. It was really easy for me. Hey,
mm-hmm.
God's desire for me. How you doing? Good to see you.
That's there for me.
Um, so I,
Yeah.
you
It's all
know,
her girls.
yep.
All the girls are sick. Go ahead. So you backed
So
off.
I backed off of it, and it was really easy to get off of coffee after fasting too.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I gotta check something really quick.
Nice, Billy. Welcome in. Okay. Yeah. Well, it's kind of when you say when you can, what do you mean? Because you're eating with is it your granddaughter, I think you have, Nancy? Um, that's one thing too, is it has to be a mental shift to where you get sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, you've got to start figuring out, and really what it is it's an elimination diet.
Yes.
So, the carbs that I'm limited to have nothing to do with typical grains. Like if I do grain, it's a pseudo grain. I did because I had mentioned some of the recipes for the anti-candida diet. And that's another thing too, is look into that diet, the anti-candida diet. Some of the stuff that's out there is good, but there's a website specifically called that, the anti-candida diet, and get some ideas from there of what to eat and add probiotics. Because if your gut isn't right, you're going to not be able to digest stuff right. And you're not going to be able to assimilate things, and you're still going to be having that leaky gut. Okay, so you can't have, like we've talked about this before, you can't have the red meats, but you still could have like chicken, turkey, fish, some of the lighter meats. Can you not have pork either? Oh, have fun on that moped ride. Be careful. Welcome in, Fractal of Athena. Afternoon. Hi, Laura. I didn't know you were doing this. Good afternoon, your cousin. It's your cousin, Andrea, she says.
Oh,
I know, sips on coffee.
my cousin Andrea. Hi. Good to see ya.
And I know that can feel restrictive because that's
Mhm.
what I'm heading towards. I've been eating a lot of chicken lately, and it can feel really.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oops.
Getting creative with making chicken.
Yeah. See, now that's like gout, our treasured home, actually. I'm not really supposed to have fatty pork, no beef, no game. Yeah. And also even sardines, which they did like the carnivores do. Oh, God bless you.
That's
Your
interesting.
nose is fine.
Why
They
no
do a
game?
sardine. Huh?
Why no game food?
Game meats are high in purines, I think they call it. Hold on. It's a certain word that sets off the gout, that
Oh,
forms the crystals. And sardines, they do the sardine challenge, the carnivores, and that could set off a huge gout flare if you have gout. Yeah, and those are not fun. I found out. I was in excruciating pain, and it showed up in a weird joint too. I had something going on with my toe. I had asked the rheumatologist about it, and he said maybe, but he didn't really. He wasn't convinced that it could be gout.
yeah.
Because I'm 53. I'm not like morbidly obese. I'm overweight, but I'm not morbidly obese. I don't have any of the other
You're
symptoms.
not an alcoholic. You're
Not
not.
an alcoholic, exactly, but it can be genetic, and my
Yeah.
dad had it. So, yeah, it showed up in my wrists, and this one right wrist was in excruciating pain, and it was just like somebody was stabbing me with a knitting needle. Is all how I can
Yeah.
describe it.
It's horribly painful.
Yeah, it is very horribly painful. Oh, thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, the ads that I don't get paid for. Hey, Anne, welcome in. But
Yeah.
is it
If you watch ads on
pyrene?
my channel, that will help. But
Yeah, no, that's not it. What is it? Hold on. But it's very similar, Nancy, to the alpha gal as far as what you and I both have to stay away from to not have pain, a lot of pain. So if you're having, I saw that you made that flax bread. When you made your flax bread, Nancy, did you use also regular flour with it? Because I didn't get to watch that video yet. I just saw your picture and it looked like it came out amazing. And that's one thing too. I would have to try like a yeast-free flax bread or flax cracker or an almond flax cracker, which I want to try and make.
I
But
would like
still,
to experiment with some almond flours and things like that to make breads because, or even for like a pizza crust. The pizza crust I make has sugar in it, not a lot, but it has sugar in it on top of it being pizza crust.
Yeah.
But everybody loves it, so it's like,
of course.
how do you get away from that? Like, it's pizza night tonight, so what do you do?
Well, the regular flour, though, for your weight does. That's what I'm saying. Like, you've got to get away from the regular grains if you want to lose weight and try pseudo grains. You will not, you won't know until you try it.
Yeah.
But our regular flours, unless you're grinding it yourself, are stripped from their wheat germ, and the germ is what helps it digest in our systems. Yeah. Plus, a lot of our flours are bleached, so you're eating bleach.
And it's
that's why I asked.
So hard to find non-bleached flour.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing about that when you're making bread is the non-bleached organic flour is actually better for making bread too. And so it just works better, especially when you're doing a fermented bread like sourdough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have the red. eventually when I go back to it, I have the red, what do you call it? Red hard wheat that I want to grind myself and try
Hmm.
it. But I was determined that no, I'm going to get to a certain weight before I even try and make sourdough bread.
Yeah.
Because if it goes well, like if my gut is doing well and I can eat it, I'm gonna
Hmm.
want to eat it,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna have to really moderate myself on
Yeah.
it because
Yeah.
that's how I gain weight is on carbs. I love carbs.
Yeah.
It took me a while. I did go through the keto flu a bit. In fact, Storms, he knows because I was like going through it for a few days, and it was not fun.
Hmm.
But staying hydrated with lemon water with a little bit of salt helped. Also doing, and I couldn't do this while I was doing while I was trying to get rid of the yeast, but pickle juice.
Hmm.
Pickle juice helps too. A little bit of that to get you through that hump of coming off the carbs and the sugar, and
Right.
when that
Doesn't pickle juice have sugar in it
it
though?
does have some of it has it, but it's like a low amount. It's a low
Hmm.
amount of sugar. So yeah, you have to be careful with
Hmm.
that. But even you could do the apple cider vinegar water,
Yeah.
if it does have the sugar in it,
I've
you could
done
do
that, and that actually helps me. Apple cider vinegar water
hmm Then
helps.
that's probably what would be good for you
Hmm.
if you're going to try and come off the sugar.
Yeah.
Purine, that's what it's called. Finally, sorry, trying to multitask. Low purine diet. If you have gout, and it's talking. And what's funny is it mentions things that I had sensitivities to before I knew that I had gouty arthritis. I can't drink alcohol anymore. I was already having issues with it.
Hmm.
And that's one of the things, like you don't drink alcohol, no high fructose corn syrup. So, low sugar diet. Shellfish, shrimp, and anchovies and sardines are high in that, the purines. And then game meats, red meat, liver. It doesn't mention pork in this infographic, but I had heard fatty pork is kind of in there too.
Hmm.
So what you can eat is, and of course they add skim milk in. Oh, never mind. This is the Cleveland Clinic, which means it's corporate sponsors stuff is in
Yeah.
here. But it says best foods. You can have coffee. Cherries I know about, but it doesn't mention it's tart cherry. It's usually a
Hmm.
tart cherry,
Hmm.
uh, and like a high vitamin C, and then you're flushing yourself with water. And
Yeah.
then pretty much like what Nancy was saying, your chicken, your turkey, your fish, certain fish.
Hmm.
But yeah, I, by doing this, I mean, I found out I had gout, which I might not have found out because I brought down my inflammation from my fibro to know, like, hey, this isn't fibro. This
Right.
is something completely different.
Hey,
Hey, 49
49.
more. Welcome in. But yeah, and Nancy, I hope I'm just conversing with you. Hey, Suburban
Thanks.
Hillbilly.
Good to
I'm
see
not
you, Suburban.
like, I hope I'm not
Mhm.
offending you in any way.
No,
These are just things I've been learning for a long time that I took a break from,
it's just
actually.
a discussion because sometimes
Yeah, it's
what
a
you
discussion.
know,
Yeah,
your body chemistry is different than her body chemistry. So,
exactly. Exactly.
mm,
But if I have a sedentary lifestyle a lot too because of Malachi. It doesn't seem like it, but I do. Like we're inside a lot and doing things inside.
mhm.
And um, so, yeah, I totally relate to it's hard to lose. And also with the fibro, I was putting on weight because I couldn't move.
Right.
I couldn't move. What was this one? I haven't had a sip out. Wow. Yeah, I didn't have a problem either. Like my husband doesn't drink at all and he doesn't really care for alcohol in the house. Um, and it was only like if I would go out, like, yeah, with the meal, I would have
Yeah.
a drink or two. And even then, like all my life, I've been a lightweight. All my life,
Yeah.
it
Me
never
too.
took that much, and I was woohoo gone.
But I wasn't when I was younger. Everything's healthy. But
Yeah,
get older. I
yeah,
know. I don't. We don't drink in our house anymore either. We
yeah.
just
So
just
true.
don't.
That's so true. It takes a while to learn what you can have and what you can't have. It's true.
Yeah.
And how your body reacts to it. Like, and sometimes if you haven't had sleep, like Duncan was saying, your body will react completely different than
Mm-hmm.
it did when you've gotten a good night's sleep. Your
Right.
insulin resistance is worse when you have not gotten sleep than it is when you've gotten your full like 8 hours or whatever your body
Right.
prefers, 7, 9, 12.
I can see the difference in just how my body reacts during the day and what I eat. When I haven't slept well, I am bloated. I feel horrible, just
Mm-hmm.
horrible.
Yeah. Yeah. Me too. Me too. And that's the same thing now with, I was telling a friend, like, I would love to try the desserts, but it's like, I don't want to have to go through the withdrawal again because it's just
Right.
like coming off of a drug. It really is what it did to my body on its way out. It was like it has to come out of all those little cells that are jonesing for it. And they've talked about that sugar is just as addictive as cocaine. And go figure. They
Mm-hmm.
make a really highly addictive sugar and put it in all the corporate foods that are in, the grocery stores.
Yes.
And including MSG, the one that also tells our brain, you want more of me. I'm more delicious than that other food. Oh, I'm sorry, Suburban Hillbilly. That's kind of
No,
how like mine's been for about 10. So I'm so
I
sorry.
don't do that every day, but I have days like last night. I slept 4 hours. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, and then if you have like a backache or you're aching in any way,
Yeah.
that just doesn't heal right, and so yeah.
Oh, and we just had that conversation with Laura. But depending on when you have that coffee, if you start in the morning, that starts your blood sugar going up and down. Just that little bit can do it.
Mhm.
And that's what I
I do.
realized.
I heard a
It's like,
doctor tell me or talk about even waiting a couple hours before you have that first cup of
mm-hmm.
coffee
I've heard
because
that too.
that can set your body off on a wrong start too. And I forget what it does. I think it
It's
just
cortisol. It raises your
can
cortisol
raise your
level.
it can raise your heart rate
Mm-hmm.
if you're having heart issues.
Oh
And
yeah, for BP. Mm-hmm.
yeah, and so if you wait a couple hours before you have that first cup of coffee. And that's hard because that's the first thing I want.
Yeah. After I gave birth to my son, due to having to feed him oh yeah,
Mhm.
the new parent syndrome. Yep.
Yeah.
Same thing. And yeah, that happened with my daughter. Actually, I couldn't lose the weight. I put on a little bit, but I couldn't lose the weight because of that, the no sleeping.
Yeah. Yeah, I had that same
Hey,
issue.
hey, Country Hustle
Yeah.
101. But once I was through that, then I morphed into what Laura said was I started to lose and I went too far because I
Mhm.
was so afraid of going back up like I
Mhm.
had been and, getting stuck there. Because
Right.
we have like weight issues in the family. The women do. My dad was always pretty small, but he had the grain belly and he would eat junk. It
Yeah.
was,
Yeah.
that harlot little Debbie. She was in the house. My dad had the same weakness as Homestead Aquarius with those
Yeah.
little Debbie, the nutty buddies.
Oh, my
Yeah,
husband buys those sometimes.
yeah. My brain won't turn off. I
I
hate that. Yeah.
my challenge now is that my mother-in-law has um she lives with us, and she likes her sweets and she needs to gain weight. And so
Oh,
it's hard for
cortisol.
me. So we almost have to
Yeah.
have it in the house.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so that's the problem.
I
Yeah.
wonder if there's healthier sweets though that she could have.
Right.
Maybe.
Right.
Because
Well,
you're great at making those bakery things, but then you're left making them. But if you froze them, like wrap them, like some of
right.
your cinnamon rolls and pre-wrap
Hmm.
them
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
her, so you could just take those out rather than, other junky stuff.
Right. And at
Oh,
least it's homemade.
yeah. Yeah. I
Just
mean, like it's more work for you though, so I don't mean to put that on you.
no,
But
no.
like when you're doing a video or something, you just make a
Right.
double batch and freeze what you can
I do
for
do
her.
that. I do that, and she does that too. So
I've been struggling. What is this? I've been struggling with blood sugar problems for years now. Yeah, that little bit in the morning will do it. It will set it
mhm.
off. Yep.
Yeah.
And the fasting too, and we were talking about where you just eat like 8 hour within an 8 hour window of your day. Um, and of course, you're still carefully considering what you're eating. You're not eating a bunch of, crappy foods. You're eating whole foods, like Shawnee had mentioned. Your best nutrient, you want nutrient dense foods to feed
Mhm.
your cells while you're doing this.
Right.
Uh, but we were talking about the insulin resistance drops. Your insulin resistance will get better. And this is not an insulin resistant drink, but if you are having a hard time sleeping, Suburban Hillbilly, and you can handle tart cherry juice,
Hey, Peterson
just
family.
a little bit actually naturally kicks your melatonin into gear.
Mhm.
And yeah. Hey, Peterson Farms of Nashville, welcome in.
No, I was
Sleep
before
is
I did the fasting. My blood sugar was up. Now that's managed, and I could sleep better at night. It's just been recently that I've been dealing with, but of course I haven't been fasting, and
Mm,
that really helped with
yeah.
sleep too. I don't know why, but it helped
Yeah.
with sleep.
You can do
I
organic tart cherry juice or dried tart cherries, which you could even
mhm.
put in like a pseudo grain. If you're having like a breakfast and you want like a treat, you can put it in the dried cherries in like your the buckwheat, which is not related to wheat. It's a pseudo grain, and it's pretty good. But you still have to watch it because it is a carb. It's carbs that you're putting in. But if you're kind of rotating it, it's like if that was your last meal of that 8 hour window, it would set you up to your body to relax. Yeah, no, it's tart cherry, not dark cherry. It's tart.
Yeah, yeah, it's a big difference.
Yeah, yeah, tart cherry juice. And plus, too, if you have gout like me, it helps flush out the bad stuff. Helps with those crystals. Gets rid of them.
Okay, Storm.
Hello. I know, right? When Laura makes those cinnamon rolls, like, yeah, don't go, like, watch Laura's videos, but watch out for the cinnamon roll video after this live that we're doing here. Yeah, you're gonna,
Yeah, yeah.
yum yum. Yeah,
No,
there's fish. Go ahead.
that when I learned how to make bread, that was
Oh
not.
yeah,
It was a good thing, but not a good thing.
yeah. Well, I've made bread before, so I know, and I've worked in a bakery, and it was an Italian bakery where they had racks of fresh Italian loaves coming
Mhm,
out. I wasn't eating the sweets all the time. I was eating the bread. I was hollowing it
mhm.
out and eating that warm bread, and I put on the poundage. Like
Yeah,
I
yeah.
went from like maybe a size 4 to a 10, and my mom was like, "What is going on? Are you just like
Mhm.
partaking a bit too much?" I'm like, "I'm not really eating sweets, mom." And then I realized I was like, "I eat the bread." She goes, "Oh, that'll do it too, Carol." Because I think I was like 16 at the time, so I didn't know.
Yeah, and I think when I like have like fresh bread,
Sweet.
it's just so yummy. You want to have a piece right away with lots of
Oh
butter
yeah.
on it, and
And then you
then
want to put butter on it, and I'm off
mhm,
dairy.
mhm.
So yeah, no, I got to definitely wait on that. But too, there's teas,
Thank you.
Suburban Hillbilly.
Sure.
There's also teas that are totally calorie free that have passion flower, valerian,
Mhm.
chamomile is one. What's the other one? I'm thinking of it, and it's usually in Spanish teas. Can't think of the herb, but any of those herbs that's calming, soothing, knock you
Mhm.
out.
Yeah.
Oh, yeasty
Castor.
breads give you heartburn. So there you go. You might have a little
Yeah.
yeasty going on,
Yeah.
Duncan.
Got to make the
Yeah.
sourdough. The
Yeah.
sourdough is a lot better on your stomach.
It is because it's more of a probiotic, I
Mhm.
think is what
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
fermented. The only problem is if you have any kind of yeast allergies, you're still
Mhm.
getting wild yeast in that. Same thing with
Right. You gotta
kombucha.
you gotta do a long ferment if
Yeah,
you have problems with yeasties. So
I think I need to get, see, doctor says yeast is over. I start getting spontaneous. Ooh, that's not good.
no.
It can be, that can be stress, and that can also be if you have something blooming there, or it's just extremely dry, and because
Can also be
sometimes
hormonal.
it can also be, what was that?
Hormonal.
Oh, hormonal. Yeah, usually the boys used to get that though. It was their skin was thinner up in their nose or something, and they said it was hormonal. I didn't know women got it hormonally.
Women, if you, well, especially if you're pregnant or you're going through hormonal changes, like if your estrogen's really high, you can get bloody noses.
Oh, there you
Yeah.
go, Anne. What did we just? There was something that was talking about removing that. Hold on, I got, because we are susceptible to different estrogens in our environment. Uh, Hold on, let me see if I can look it up because I was actually just reading something about that. Extra. Are you consuming anything that might up your estrogen levels? Like, I mean, you're in Turkey, so I can't imagine you're doing a lot of soy.
Yeah,
Mm,
in the United States, soy is in almost everything we
yeah,
eat.
yeah.
It's scary. If you're eating, any products that are over the counter, in the grocery store that is pre-made. Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. Just give me a
You're
second,
on flu
guys.
meds. Okay.
What,
I don't know why that would do it, but
it might be drying her out.
yeah.
What kind of flu meds are you on? Do you mean like an antiviral or like something you get at, the store to dry you out? There you go. We figured it out. See, sometimes we just need to talk out, talk it
Yep.
out. That's what
Yeah.
we're here for. But it did bring me to that um,
Yes, GMO.
high high estrogens. Yep,
Hmm.
we have a bunch of
It's
GMO
funny
soy.
because here in Tennessee, we grow so much soy bean.
Mhm.
It's crazy.
Yeah, for sure.
It's growing right down the road from my house.
Wait a minute. What's that? Wow.
And
Wow, I didn't know this. It says here are some other conditions that are related to high estrogen levels because I went looking for that and it said
Mhm.
systematic lupus, SLE, and multiple sclerosis.
Hmm.
And of course, we know about the gynecomastia, which is moobs or men boobs,
Mm-hmm.
and short stature, obesity. Um, let's see, lowering it naturally, not medications. That's not naturally. People, help me out here. Sorry, guys. I can come back with this next time. Yeah, because I was thinking you're pretty much eating Mediterranean and that lowers estrogen levels. The Mediterranean diet is
Hmm.
supposed to, but oh, okay. She realized it. Okay, it's the first time you ever took it. So there you go. You're having a reaction to that flu med. Well, it is 4 o'clock, guys, and I have a friend, like I said, ooh, I just, sorry.
Yeah.
I have a friend coming from out of town, and I have to get ready and get him ready for his daddy when daddy comes home.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, so I
Fun.
get to go out and see my friend and go to a restaurant and not know what to eat. No, they have seafood, but that's the problem now. Seafood's a
Yeah.
problem for me. I need a
Yeah.
doctor, but don't know where. I probably have salmon if they have that in the doctor. But no,
Yeah. I hate
no.
that when you have
I
to
hate
put.
that too. There are websites that people will give them reviews.
Mm-hmm.
I forget the name of it. There's a
I've
big
had to
one.
fire a couple of doctors here.
Yeah. So you might want to look into looking them up online first, Suburban Hillbilly, and put their name in reviews,
Mm-hmm.
and just put the word reviews after and see if it comes up.
Yep. And don't feel
And
bad that you have to fire them.
yeah, Absolutely. Don't feel bad if you got it.
I felt horrible, but I was like, guy's just not getting back to me. I mean, it's an important thing here, and
Yeah.
not doing it. So.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for coming today. Thanks,
Later.
Laura. Appreciate you popping up with me.
Yep. No
Have
problem.
a good one, and God bless. I may be here tonight. I may not be. I don't know. I'm not sure if I'm doing Friday yet or not.
Okay.
So I will talk to y'all later. Love you.
Bye.
Love you.